Hello everyone. Today I wanted to talk about Life is Strange and more specifically the future of the franchise. Bear with me. So some more time has passed since the release of the highly anticipated sequel of LIS1 and I have some thoughts to share on the direction they chose to go in. To begin with, let's talk about the ending for a bit. After I've given some time for myself to sit on it, I have to state I do not think that the ending for Double Exposure was bad. It was rather unexpected and poorly executed in some parts. I believe the twist in Safi's character wasn't terrible. I didn't need her to be a Chloe replacement. However, there were some scenes with her in the last chapter that I wouldn't have made. I want to say, for me the issue with the game mainly appeared in Chapter 5, and those were mostly the following. After we meet Safi in the tornado, her comparing herself to gods and referring to conquering the world was not a great idea. Or at least it was something that needed more time to be planted in the player's head. It was out of the box and not a great way to end the story. It serves better as an introduction, but even then, it was poorly done and unnecessary for now. In my view, they should have left it where she is revealed to be the shapeshifter and basically everything after that, but don't make her full-on villain all of a sudden. It would have been perfect if they left the strong hint with her being the shapeshifter and shooting her own mother. Now, even if they did and it was okay, I still have problems. For instance, there were too many cuts and changes in the environment meanwhile. First the bench, then the turtle, then the roof, and Max's place, and the lookout. Moreover, I found the transition bad between these parts. So, frankly speaking, if I could have changed something, that would have been it. Now, there are a few things that should have been handled better. One of these is the end of chapter 4. I think the ending of this chapter is fine, it's just a bit all over the place. We have the Krampus on campus completely turned upside down once Lucas tells Safi about her mother, and the players not knowing what was happening wasn't too great of an idea here. The chapter had a nice slower pace just to be interrupted with people screaming and panicking. The tornado appeared out of thin air, everything was a mess out of nowhere. In my opinion, the writing wasn't bad here either, it's just the execution again. But then the choice to either rush Safi or talk her down wasn't as great, as well as the look of the tornado at Caledon wasn't good either. I get what the storm represents to Max and all, but as I said before, asteroids were mentioned a few times and those bringing the end of the world would have made much more sense to me. But again, they built the final chapter on Max fixing everything in the storm, which was good in fact. I don't know. For me, Double Exposure has some issues like these. On one hand, the concept works very well, on the other hand, it is overdone or there's a more fitting solution. Either way, the game is amazing for the most part. I just thought the end of chapter 4 was weird, and I don't think it's a huge issue, but I would have put a sign up there when Max went into the storm that she's actually in the time vortex right now, just to avoid any confusion. Another one like this was the very end of chapter 4, where she looks at the photo and travels back in time. Dear cameraman, Show which photo we are talking about, or even better, make the player focus on it for a cleaner ending point. So here's what I ultimately would have done besides what I've already stated. I would have merged together chapter 4 and 5, since they were shorter and I even shortened 5, it makes sense those two should be put together. What is more, the final chapter was in the storm for the most part. As for the Chloe discussion, that deserves a whole video. For the time being, what I'm gonna say here is that I respect Deck9's decision that they didn't want to mess with the story of the first game by bringing back Chloe as well, no matter what he chose in Elias 1. I think her absence in this game was fine since they wanted to focus on a different story here. On the flip side, bringing back Chloe for the next game with Max is inevitable. Finally, let's not forget that it is Max confronting her past at the end here. She either said she'll face Chloe or Arcadia Bay based on your decisions, and that shouldn't be ignored. We are counting on you, Deck9, and get Ashley Birch back as well. If you do that, and do that well, no hard feelings on my end. To wrap up this video, I want to tell you that even though I mentioned a few specific things here that I didn't agree with, I found this game to be a huge surprise. I honestly had a really good time playing it, and if I can point out all the issues I had with it like this, that's a great sign, because otherwise this game would have been perfect for me. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you have any video suggestions, let me know as well. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.